spring well underway, the garden is getting decidedly crowded, making it virtually impossible to eat without being interrupted. Piglet has come in early, hoping to avoid another run-in with Rambo. But great minds think alike, and Rambo isn't far behind. Piglet's options of choice tonight appear to be more defence than offence, but after last night's face-off, Rambo wants to make absolutely sure that Piglet really is going to behave himself. It's times like these when you realise the advantages of the whole curling up thing. Having made his point, Rambo decides it's time for a drink before dinner. But the moment he starts on the food, Piglet pops out of his ball. So far, so good. But the rolling over is the tricky bit, and the second his spine scrapes the side of the dog kennel, Rambo whips round. He doesn't seem to be able to tell if Piglet has moved or not, and for the moment he seems torn between checking and eating. But prevention is obviously better than cure, and he rams him again anyway. Now that Piglet is definitely rolled up, Rambo can go back for a drink. But Piglet has had enough, and as soon as Rambo is eating again, he makes a break for it, and Rambo quickly follows. While the big boys are settling their differences elsewhere, Oliver seizes the opportunity to grab something to eat. Living up to his name, Oliver always wants more. And just this once, as he moves on to the second dish, it looks like he's actually going to get it. Even Tilly has decided to sneak past and hide in the food hut. After all, there's no need to embarrass the kid 2 nights in a row. Unfortunately, Oliver seems to have caught a whiff of eau de Tilly and sets off with enthusiasm for the food hut. But I doubt he's going to get the reception he's expecting. Meanwhile, Frumpy has arrived and appears to have the food all to herself. That is, until Oliver decides that confined spaces are not suitable for courting and heads around towards the food dish instead. This time last year, Oliver was half his present size, and Frumpy took great delight in putting the pesky youngster in his place. I wonder what they'll make of each other this year. It only takes a few seconds of grumpy Frumpy for Oliver to decide he would rather have something to eat. But her persistent nagging has him moving on quickly to the water trough, allowing Frumpy to return to her meal before they call it a draw and go their separate ways. Like the Queen of Sheba's visit to King Solomon, Lady Penelope has heard of the wonders of this garden and has decided to see it for herself. Unfortunately, as far as Target is concerned, she's just another female in need of his attention. Lady Penelope is not amused, and following the usual vocalization, Lady Penelope dances out of sight. It looks like Target will have to dine alone after all. A couple of hours later, Tilly makes another dash for the food hut, which is just as well as Turbo soon puts in an appearance. And while Turbo stuffs his face, a third hog can be seen lurking near the back of the shed. Or is it just forming the start of an orderly queue? Eventually, Turbo decides to check out the food hut, but finding it still occupied by Tilly, he wisely heads back out again. Soon Frumpy appears. She's as determined as Tilly to avoid the boys tonight. But when she catches sight of the other hedgehog, she heads straight for it, determined to stake her claim on the food before returning to her meal. It's only when she wanders off that we finally get to see who's been doing all the lurking. It's Molly. Despite her size, she hasn't managed to get near the food so far tonight. Let's hope Frumpy hasn't put her off trying altogether. Really, Frumpy.